Remember this, and show yourselves men. Bring it again to mind, O ye transgressors. Remember the former things of old. For I am God, and there is none else. I am God, and there is none like me. Declaring the end from the beginning, and from ancient times the things that are not yet done, saying, My counsel shall stand, and I will do all my pleasure. Calling a ravenous bird from the east, the man that executeth my counsel from a far country. Yea, I have spoken it. I will also bring it to pass. I have purposed it. I will also do it. Hearken unto me, ye stout-hearted that are far from righteousness. I bring near my righteousness. It shall not be far off, and my salvation shall not tarry. And I will place salvation in Zion for Israel my glory.
Wherefore, yea, my sons, be valiant, and show yourselves men in the behalf of the law, for by it shall ye obtain glory. Shalom, all praises, glory, honor, and fear, Yahweh Bashim, Yahushai, Bashim Kakadash. That belongs to elders and citation to election. And we're in a time of judgment now. And the thing is about, like, if you look at this world, you know, you'll have judges, right? But they have to go through an immense amount of studying and researching and school and education. And it takes a lot. It takes a whole lot. You know, it takes a lot out of you. It takes a lot of sacrifice. It takes a lot of time. It's time consuming. And what you really love, you're gonna give your most time to it. So let's say you love woman. You put woman on a pedestal of worshiping the woman. Then guess what? You're gonna give all your time and energy to woman. If it's food, you're gonna give it to all the food. If it's of a trade or a sport, you're gonna do like basketball players. They do football players. They'll do 2-a-day, 3-a-day practices. Man, the whole day consists of what? Just practicing on their form. Now, how much more in this word there's truth? And guys think that it's just do videos and just go to camp and that's it. No, it's every single day, being in the temple, being in the Lord's word, meditating, thinking upon these things. You see, in all holy conversation, godliness, man, knowing how you are to conduct yourself in the house of God, knowing how to handle, deal with certain situations that pop up, how to treat your brother if he goes off or whatever the case may be. And this all comes with what? Being built up through the Spirit and having your sword, which is this word, having your sword sharpened every single day, not letting it get dull. Like a lot of guys, their sword has gotten dull. Their sword has gotten dull, and that takes persistence. It takes effort. It takes sacrifice, and it's going to take the vast majority of your time, and it's going to pull you away from this world. It's going to pull you away from the go and get it. Oh, I got to get this. I got to get rich. I got to do this job, this errand. It's going to pull you out, and it's going to what? Set you upon the rock, set you upon this word, you see, this truth. And a sword is not just to be sharpened, it's also to be used. And we don't just hear the word, we're also doers of the word, you see, of this sword. All right, Judges 8 and verse... Judges 8. I'm sorry, verse 18, because the enemies of Israel, they were slaying our people. And the revenger of blood was to what? Slay the murderer. Not pity, not spare them, not take a gift out the bosom to corrupt judgment. And a lot of guys are doing that. They're doing exactly that. They all these gifts that they've given to each other and they've gone to receive. Their heart, their spirit has been destroyed. This is Judges 8 and 18. Then said he unto Zabah and Zalmunna, What manner of men were they whom ye slew at Tabor? And they answered, As thou art. You see, they resembled Gideon. All right, verse 18. As thou art, so were they. Each one resembled the children of a king. You see, with royalty says, and he said, They were my brethren, even the sons of my mother. As Yahweh liveth, if ye had saved them alive, I would not slay you. And he sent unto Jether his firstborn up and slay them. So he gave him a command, his son, to what? Slay them, kill them. All right, this is the power we're dealing with. Our power, he is the power of war, of mercy, and of judgment. The Lord kills, he makes alive, and he uses his men to kill. When you go into David and Saul, there was a song saying Saul kills in thousands and David is tens of thousands. You see? And the Lord was with that, all right? So it's a difference between killing and murdering. You see? Verse 21. Let's look at verse 20. It says, but the youth drew not his sword, for he feared because he was yet a youth. And a lot of guys, you're fearful to really use a sword, because this is what this word is for. It's a weapon, man. And when going into weapons, like looking at the carnal weapon of Esau, the gun, right? If you're not mature or strong or brave enough, and if you're weak and you're still young, then guess what? It's going to scare you. The loudness of it, the power in it. And you might hurt yourself or someone else. You might even get someone killed. You see, and this is what we're dealing with this truth, man. That you can't just hold it and yield it however you want and just say whatever you want to say. You see? And that's why a lot of men's mouths and what they're saying, what they're teaching, what they're telling men what to teach, or call ESRE and just say vaccine, maxi, all this nonsense, all this lukewarm, weak-ass spirit. They're going to get themselves and a lot of men destroyed. Let me read that again. But the youth drew not his sword, for he feared because he was yet a youth. And a lot of guys, you're not using the word of the Lord. You're not using his riches, right? This word is a great spoil unto those that find it. You're not using it as it's supposed to be used, to slay and destroy the wicked. The Lord said that in Isaiah 11:4. And by the Lord's mouth, by his breath, he shall slay and consume the wicked. Rather, you guys are what? You're trying to keep the wicked alive. You're on the side of you're praising the wicked, man. You see, Hebrews 4:12. For the word of God is quick and powerful. So Lord, he has to quicken your spirit. He has to quicken you. He has to strengthen you. It says, and powerful and sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing even to the dividing asunder of soul and spirit and the joints and marrow, and is a discerner of the thoughts and intents of the heart. So it's going to know what men is thinking, the reasonings of men. So this is the most deadliest weapon on the earth right now. Because, matter of fact, let's go to Sirach real quick. That's one of my favorite precepts. I love all these precepts, man. Sirach 28:18. It says, many. Let me start verse 17 now. Sirach 28:17. The stroke of the whip maketh marks in the flesh. You see? That carnal weapon that inflicts pain and judgment. The stroke, the whip. So the stroke of the whip maketh marks in the flesh, but the stroke of the tongue breaketh the bones. See, so the tongue, Lord has given us a mouth that all our enemies cannot gainsay nor resist. And the Lord is speaking through us, and our tongue, right, is a weapon. We're breaking the bones. You see, we're breaking your insides, what's inside of you. You see, that's why a lot of guys are not able to stand. They're not strong. You know, they're not spiritually running, right? Because their bones are being broken by the word of the Lord that's being mouthed through the men of the Lord's tongues. Let me get this real quick. 2 Samuel 23:2. I'm sorry. Yeah, verse 1. Now these be the last words of David. David, the son of Jesse, said, the man who was raised up on high, the anointed of God of Jacob, and the sweet psalmist of Israel said, the spirit of Yahweh spake by me, and his word was in my tongue. And Lord said, the elect, right, in their mouth is found what? No guile. They're without fault. See, because they have the word, they have Yahushai in their mouth, and they're not ashamed of the gospel. They're not adding and subtracting from the Lord's word, or the potency of it, or the severity of it, or how deadly and how powerful it is. The God of Israel said, the rock of Israel spake to me, he that ruleth over men must be just, ruling in the fear of God. So that's the only one that's going to have a power in these last times, to have the fear of the Lord. All right, Ecclesiastes 28:18. Many have fallen by the edge of the sword, but not so many as have fallen by the tongue. You see that? And the slaying of the Lord is going to be many, and he's already slaying them right now through the Spirit. Like we just read in verse 17, the stroke of the tongue breaketh bones. You see, so the elect, not one of their bones are broken because they're the Lord's body. Just like Yahushua when he was on the cross, not one of his bones was broken. That was symbolic of the elect coming back together and being fully structured and fully strong. Not a fraction, not a break anywhere. But those that are not of the Lord's body, that are eating of this truth unworthily, they're being broken, man. They're being broken off, cut off. Well is he that has defended through the venom thereof, who hath not drawn the yoke thereof, nor hath been bound in her bands. And the Lord talked about our people being a generation of scorpions and vipers, venom. You see? So this is Judges 8 and verse 21. Then Zebah and Zalmunna said, Rise thou and fall upon us, for as this man is, so is his strength. And Gideon arose and slew Zebah and Zalmunna, and took away the ornaments that were on their camels' necks. Then the men of Israel said unto Gideon, Rule thou over us, both thou and thy son's son also, for thou hast delivered us from the hand of Midian. And Gideon said unto them, I will not rule over you, neither shall my son rule over you, for the Lord shall rule over you. You see? And that's what our people don't understand, is that they always want someone to rule over them. The Lord is the one that rules over our people, man. See, and he sets up men to be what? Good examples. And just like when Yahushua, when he was offered that high seat, come and be a king over us, Yahushua left. See, same thing with Gideon. Now, let it be known with Gideon, when we read on the story, Gideon basically lived as a king, and he went off eventually, but the Lord, he's raising up judges as at the first. And we're in the time of shining and being perfected, where we'll never go off again. See, the Lord's not gonna raise up judges and then they're gonna go off, and he's gonna have to raise up judges again to save them again. He's gonna save us once and for all. Raise up the men that was from the beginning. Matthew 10 and 34. Think not. Let me start with 33, because a lot of you guys, you don't bring out Matthew 23, Luke 11, number 16, right? And various different other chapters, man. And that's a form of you denying the word. See, you being partial, having respect to persons, not wanting to use this word and this weapon, this sword, for what it's supposed to be used for, to slay and expose and to destroy the wicked, man, amongst our people. To sever the righteous from the just, righteous from the wicked. But whoso shall deny me before men, him will I also deny before my Father which is in heaven. Think not. So a lot of guys, they're thinking that peace is coming, or that's what the Lord is coming for. Think not that I am come to send peace on earth. I came not to send peace, but a sword. And the Lord has his sword being yielded through his men that are being hated right now. You see? So don't think that, man, because a lot of guys are deceived by their own vain opinion. And they don't have the mind of Yahushua. That's why their thoughts aren't really on things above, because Lord said in Isaiah 55, as his ways are higher than man's ways. You see? 1 Corinthians 13:11. Verse 9 says, verse 8 says, Charity never faileth, but whether there be prophecies, they shall fail. Whether there be tongues, they shall cease. Whether there be knowledge, it shall vanish away. So we see a lot of guys, what's happening? Their knowledge and all things they put above charity, it's vanishing away. It doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. It's passing away just with the world, just like as they are of the world. It says, whether there be knowledge, it shall vanish away. See, so wisdom and knowledge shall be stability of that time. But what wisdom and knowledge? The wisdom and knowledge of how much scriptures I know, or how much history I know, or how much men I know in this camp or that camp? No, not that, but the wisdom and knowledge of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, the scriptures, the spirit. See, charity, be loving this, loving doing this, loving your brother as yourself. You not doing something that you wouldn't want to be done to you. It says, for we know in part and we prophesy in part. But when that which is perfect is come, then that which is in part shall be done away. So we're in that part now, man. It says, when I was a child, I spake as a child. I understood as a child. I thought as a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things. And that's why the Lord said in Isaiah 24, because the curse has devoured the whole earth. There's few men left. A lot of men are immature children still, man. They're not able to slay and use a sword, use this word for what it's supposed to be used for. They shy away from it. They want to save the social medias, man. Just like women. Oh no, I want to, it's really immature. It's really childish. We're in a very weak ass society, man. We see Psalms 139 in verse 19. Surely thou wilt slay the wicked, O power. Depart from me, therefore, ye bloody men. See, but guys, they're not departing from this world. They're not departing from the tents of Korah, Dathan, and Abiram. So they're going to be caught up in all that guilty blood. You see? And all the blood that is going to be required of all the murderers and slayers of the innocents, man, of the prophecy. How was shy? It says, for they speak wickedly, for they speak against thee wickedly, and thine enemies take thy name in vain. So our enemies, they have the name, they have Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, but they're taking it in vain. They're coming up empty, man. They don't have no blood on their sword. Their sword ain't have it's not being used, man. You see, they're just playing around with it. Do not I hate them, O Lord, that hate thee, and am not I grieved with those that rise up against thee. I hate them with perfect hatred. I count them mine enemies. So there's the enemies of the cross, man, and we hate them, man. We hate you. We do not love you. See, we are against you. As light is set against darkness and life against death. You see, we're with the life and we're in the light. In the light, the way of truth shall be evil spoken of. And men love darkness rather than light. Therefore, their deeds wouldn't be reproved. You see? Wisdom of Solomon 18 and 9 says, for the righteous children of good men did sacrifice secretly. So most of the Lord's works are secret. They're hidden. It's not known to the whole world. You see, it's undercover. A lot of guys, they want to be seen. They want to be they want to be in the front. Everyone look at me, subscribe to me. See, so they're not doing it sincerely. And with one consent made a holy law, that the saints should be like partakers of the same good and evil, right? Going through the straight gate, going through good, going through evil, going through hardships, going through peril. The fathers now singing out the songs of praise. But on the other side, there sounded an ill-according cry of the enemies, and a lamentable noise was carried abroad for the children that were bewailed. The master and the servant. A lot of guys, you call other men the flesh master. Yahushua just told you don't do that, man. Matthew 23. See, but the Lord's not their master, man. He's not their shepherd. That's why they don't listen to him. That's why they don't follow him whithersoever he goeth. See, the elect, they follow him whithersoever he goeth, even unto death. A lot of guys ain't willing to die for this. They don't want to suffer for this. It says, the master and the servant were punished after one manner, and like as a king, so suffered the common person. So they all together had innumerable dead with one kind of death. Neither were the living sufficient to bury them, because we're in the time now where the Lord's going to cast out the dead as dung, and no man shall lament or bury them. And it's going to come so speedily that people going to be really taken away by it, because they weren't preparing themselves for it. They weren't expecting how the magnitude of the judgment that's about to come, how rapidly, how out of nowhere it's going to come. And all that's happening in Israel right now, the rockets in Gaza and Palestine. That's just a prelude and an example what's about to come to the Israel of God, the nation of our people scattered abroad, and mainly here in America, Babylon the Great, the main arena. Says, for in one moment, in a moment, in a twinkling of an eye, we shall be changed. Right, the elect. But if you ain't a part of the elect and you're not a part of that first dominion and being put off the mortal flesh, put on the immortal, you're gonna be in the flesh. You're going to be destroyed. Flesh and blood cannot inherit the kingdom of God. But you're going to inherit dead things like worms and creeping things. For in one moment the noblest offspring of them was destroyed. For whereas they would not believe anything by reason of the enchantments, because a lot of you guys in this truth, you're enchanted. You're under a spell. You're under a spell. You can't see, you can't hear, you can't realize what has happened right now. Upon the destruction of the firstborn, they acknowledge his people to be sons of God. For while all things were in quiet silence, and that night was in the midst of her swift course, thine almighty word leaped down from heaven out of thy royal throne, as a fierce man of war into the midst of a land of destruction. This is a land that's set for destruction, man. And brought thine unfeigned commandment as a sharp sword, right? This commandment ain't fake, man. It ain't putting on an act. It's real. And standing up filled all things with death, and it touched the heaven, but it stood upon the earth. You see that? So that's what the word is supposed to be used for. 2 Maccabees 1, and we're going to get out of here. 2 Maccabees 1 and 1. The brethren, the Jews that be at Jerusalem and in the land of Judea, wish unto the brethren, the Jews that are throughout Egypt, health and peace. God be gracious unto you, and remember his covenant that he made with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, his faithful servants, and give you all in heart to serve him and to do his will with a good courage and a willing mind. And open your hearts in his law and commandments, and send you peace, and hear your prayers, and be at one with you, and never forsake you in time of trouble. And now we be here praying for you. What time as Demetrius reigned in the 169th year, we the Jews wrote unto you in the extremity of trouble that came upon us in those years, from the time that Jason, which he was an Israelite, he was a wicked one, which they're back here today being wicked as well, same thing, and his company revolted from the Holy Land and kingdom, and burned the porch and shed innocent blood. You see, so all that innocent blood is going to be required of now. It has to be a revenge for it. That's a land cannot be cleansed unless the blood of him that shed it is shed, and that's what this word is supposed to do, man, to shed the murderer's blood. 2 Maccabees 1 and verse 8. Shed innocent blood, then we prayed unto Yahweh and were heard. We offered also sacrifice and fine flour, and lighted the lamps, and set forth the loaves. You see? And though a sinner do wickedness 100 times, know that shall be well with those that fear the Most High. All praise, glory, honor, and fear Yahweh Bashim Al-Shai, Bashim Kakwadash. This word, this book is not an ordinary book. It is nothing to be played with or messed around with, like a lot of guys are doing. Like in the wilderness, they ate and then they sat down to what? To play. You see? And men don't play. Men take care of business, man. And they don't got time to just fool around. They don't got time on their hands, you see? We're not busybodying other men's matters. We have our own matters to deal with, man. Yahweh Bashim Al-Shai in this truth, and the men crept in unawares, the false brethren, false prophets, and the sheep, man, keeping them within the spirit of the Lord in the tabernacle, in the barn. Hey, Shalom.